everybody, this is Sophia. How are you? It's been a minute since I've been here on YouTube, but I wanted to share a letter that I got from you from an African-American man named Maurice Stewart, and he lives in Philadelphia, and I thought it was a really good letter that he sent to me through my Facebook inbox, and I want to address it. I want to read it to you, then I'm going to give you my thoughts on it, but more than that, I want to talk about Bill Cosby, his trial. It's finally come to trial, these allegations of these rape victims and alleged assaults, and the fact that Keisha Knight Pulliam, the actress who used to play Rudy on The Cosby Show, was with him at his hearing this past week. And I want to talk about the context of, again, how black women support black men, even when we know you're wrong, even when we know you've done the wrong thing, when you're not trying to do the right thing, which gets back to what I talked about a few weeks ago when I spoke to black women, mothers of sons, who are not helping their sons by letting them live in your basement when they're 35 or 40 and lending them money and constantly bailing them out and raising their kids and doing all those things. But yet when your daughter needs help, or when your daughter's in trouble, or when something's wrong with your black daughter, you're hard on her, you're tough on her. And I realize that this goes back to slavery. I realize that there's this strength, and that there is this endurance that black women have passed down to their daughters and their granddaughters and their great-granddaughters. But we're living in the 21st century now, and this starts in the 17th century here, and we're living in the 21st century now where we're seeing the epic damage, the incarceration problem, the broken families problem, the 68, almost 70% of black babies born out of wedlock, black women, single heads of households. Folks, this is not a good state of black America, being that that report just came out from the Urban League. I want to kind of touch on that, but I want to read this letter that I got in my inbox from a man I don't know who sent me a messenger email, and I want to read it. Again, his name is Maurice Stewart, and this came on May the 16th at 10 o'clock in the evening. I don't check Facebook Messenger rarely, if at all, and I happen to check my messages. And here's what he said. Hello, and how are you? I have noticed that you have been very rigorous about helping black women fight against... I've noticed that you have been very rigorous about helping black women fight back against attacks from black men on social media. I understand that there is a lot of anger on both sides. Pause there. No, I don't think so. I think the anger is coming from black men who have set up channels, industries, and made a lot of money hating and attacking and vilifying black women, who, as the gentleman from Africa that did that video I loved on YouTube broke down, the only person in the United States that likes the black men is black women, period. Nobody else wants them. Nobody else cares about them. Black women are the only people in the corner of black men. That's point number one. Then he says, but I wanted to ask you an honest question. I always hear that black women don't need to support black men because that is simply not their job. Wow. That flies in the face of over 300, 400 years of evidence to the contrary. Black men support black men when they beat their children, when they murdered their children. We've seen the cases. Black women will marry black men in prison. They will bail them out. They'll give them their money. They'll do whatever to support black men. So I reject the premise of that. But, he says, I notice that you ladies are using your time and resources to fight back against Negroes whose only platform is hating black women on social media. Why would a black woman like yourself and others, educated with tons of resources, spend your effort fighting black men that probably don't have a pot to piss in, when you can use that time and energy to encourage, mentor, and support black men that are trying to change the image of the black race and cause a renaissance in the black community? Let's pause there. Now, while I appreciate your heart and the spirit that's set in, I don't think it is our obligation to save black men. And I think that's what you see a lot of anger about coming from the black women who have now created videos, and they're angry and they're going off on black men and saying that they're done with them and that they don't want anything else to do with them and that they hate them and that they shouldn't be born, and things that when I see those things, I report those things because I don't like seeing us tear each other down on either side. But I think he says some interesting things here. Mentor and support black men. Well, aren't you supposed to support us? Aren't you the head and we're the help? Why do we always have to do the supporting and the mentoring and the helping, and yet we're left alone with the kids? We're left alone with the bills. We're left alone with the responsibilities. We're left alone trying to fix the mess. I just think that, brothers, we got to do better than that. This has to be something that you're engaged in, that you want to do well with, that you want to mentor, love, and support. Let me continue. It doesn't make sense to me when black women say that it's not their role to help build black men. Pause. Again, that flies in the face of 400 years of evidence to the contrary. Black women do support black men. There are so many sisters that won't even date another man outside of another race, knowing that their odds of getting a black man are slim to none to zero, knowing that he's sleeping with 10 other women, knowing that he's fathered children in other places, and they still won't leave black men alone. So again, I don't see the evidence that this is true. But again, I appreciate the respect with which he says this. And then he says, but I do see black women spending all this energy fighting men that are not on their level and whom they will never meet face to face. It is not more prudent, is it not more prudent of your time and resources to put that energy into uplifting the black man that can then be the catalyst of change for the black community? Anyway, thank you for reading this. Much love and respect. First of all, Maurice, thank you for your note. And I wrote back to him when I saw it. And I thanked him because I think he was sharing it in an honest spirit. And I appreciate what he's saying. He sounds like he's a pretty good brother. But what I want us to be clear about from the day that I got dragged into this YouTube drama and my friend Crystalline Karazin and I came on and start talking about cyberbullying, which, by the way, that initial video we did back several months ago now has had almost 15,000 plus views. And it continues to be something that a lot of women look at and use as a model because it told the truth and it spoke the truth about hate speech versus bullying, etc., etc. But I want to speak to a couple things, and I don't want this to be long because I like to keep these videos pretty tight so that you can actually learn something from them, share them, and of course I know there'll be a lot of commentary on this. But again, I think that he makes some good points, but what I want to underscore is that you can't have it both ways. These guys like Mr. Obsidian and some of the others here on YouTube, Mr. Sotomayor, and I don't know their names because I don't look at their videos, but these men have started a cottage industry that predates me many years of talking about black women. They've made a hobby of denigrating, laughing at, mocking, making fun of marital status, saying the things that they want to do to women. There's some of these more evil characters who were reported and have been reported not just to YouTube and to Facebook and wherever you find them, but we've reported them to the authorities. They have files. We've reported it to the FBI and the NCIS. And I'll tell you why that's important. The reason I took this seriously, Maurice and other good brothers out there, is because we have seen over the last 6 months too many murders occur from angry white people, angry black men, angry whoever who threatened and menaced on social media, and then they followed through. Whether it was the crazy man that attacked the 2 people in Portland, Oregon, whether it was the crazy black man that killed the old black man on Facebook on live streaming, or whether it was, the white supremacist that killed the young black man, Robert Collins III, at the University of Maryland College Park while waiting for an Uber car. All of these people threatened people on social media. They were purveyors of hate. They didn't get caught. They didn't get reported. And even if they did, they ultimately went out and did exactly what they said they would do. So again, I'm going to go back to my first video and encourage you, male and female alike. If somebody is threatening your life, if somebody is practicing vile hate speech and saying ugly things and they want to rape you, kill you, do whatever, you have got to report it to the social media platform. You've got to report it to your state, local, and federal authorities because there has to be a record. And if you're like me and you're licensed to carry a weapon, or if you own a weapon, or if you have security as I do, I had to step up my security force. Do I want to? Do I like paying that money? Do I like having to deal with security? Absolutely not. But I will do it because I will protect myself and my family. And so I want you to understand that we're not living in a time where we can take these things lightly. So Maurice, I think the answer to your question is The reason that you see so many black women up in arms and upset about this and pushing back and fighting back, and you're right, these men are not worth a warm bucket of pee. I agree with you. They don't have anything going for them. They're on disability. They're unemployed. And by the way, a lot of these jokers that get on here, and I don't have to call their names because you all know who they are, and complain about black women, they don't have any women. They don't have any women. They don't have families. They don't have children. They're alone. They're on disability or on government assistance. And so they have the nerve to get on and attack women who actually have a lot going for them. Doctors, lawyers, engineers, journalists, whatever. And that's part of the problem. It's jealousy, it's hate, it's envy, it's anger. And that's been a problem in our community for a really long time, as I think we all know. So let me get to, excuse me, I hit my hand there. Let me get to this issue that I want to close with, because I want to wrap it back to the video I did a couple weeks ago about black mothers and the way they love their sons and the way black women enable and actually do a lot of damage to black men and the black community writ large. They don't mean to. They're not trying to. They believe they're being loving. They believe they're being supportive. But it's very dysfunctional. And I want to circle back to Bill Cosby, who we all know and loved. We all watched The Cosby Show if we're old enough to remember Thursday nights as I am. And it is tragic to see him in the twilight years of his life go out like this. Now look, I don't know if the man is guilty or innocent. I wasn't there. But I am an attorney, and I do know this, that there's this thing we call preponderance of evidence, which is more likely than not. If you have 3 people accuse you or something, maybe we're going to give you the benefit of the doubt. If you have 5 people accuse you of something, maybe we'll try to give you the benefit of the doubt. But when you have 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 women coming out consistently, and then you admit that you use quaaludes and drugs to drug women for sex, and you didn't think that deposition was going to get out, these women are credible. And again, to prove my point, now, I don't know Keisha Knight Pulliam. I hear she's a wonderful person, so I have no issue with her personally. And I admire on one level her loyalty. The challenge is that we feel, again, responsible, and we've made excuses in this Cosby case for black men doing bad things. There's always an excuse. Well, the man's out to get him. No, the man's not out to get you. If you drugged women for sex and then you proceeded to rape them, violate them, assault them, that's against the law. It has nothing to do with the man getting you. It has nothing to do with the man setting you up. That's Marion Barry getting caught with crack and saying the bitch set me up, right? That's not an answer. That's not being accountable. That's not owning your mess. And so I want to know what you all think, and I'll look forward to your comments. Please keep it clean and constructive. But I really want to know what you think about the fact that Rudy, Keisha Knight Pulliam, went and was walking arm in arm with Cosby, but I didn't see his wife or his family, which I thought was ironic. And the fact that Felicia Rashad and others from the Cosby Show all stood by him. And again, while I understand loyalty, if there's a man in my family and 50 women come forward and say he raped them or assaulted them or drugged them, and it's consistent and that they feared for their life or their careers, I'm going to be looking at that member of my family with a side eye. And behind closed doors, we're going to be having some tough conversations. And then I'm going to be trying to get that member of my family some help. And I'm going to try to figure out how I can shut it down and give recompense to the people that have been injured and hurt, as I myself would want to be recompensed, versus attacking them and vilifying them and making them the villain for evil deeds done by someone in my family. Does that make sense? So again, I really just wanted to stop by tonight and say a couple things. One, I wanted to share Mr. Stewart's heartfelt letter, and I want to put it to you, sisters. Why are we fighting back? Why are we raising our voices? Why are we even engaging these men who are, yes, beneath us in so many ways, educationally, financially, socially, etc.? Why are we taking the time? Why do we want to start organizations and groups or file class action lawsuits? There's a reason for that, because it has to start somewhere. And I think it's because we're thinking about the next generation of our daughters, our nieces, our younger sisters, etc. And we want them to know they have value and worth. At least I know that's my reasoning. And so as I end this tonight, I will just continue to thank those of you who watch the videos, who support what I do in the world. We've got some good stuff coming your way that has everything to do with you being a better woman, attracting the love you want, the light you want, the happiness, the joy you want, the career fulfillment you want. We're going to do some free webinars. We're going to be stepping up things here on Facebook. YouTube, as I promised. I'm still new at this. Hopefully, Crystal and I will be back together soon, doing some good stuff. I have to reach out to her. I've been so busy with some projects and things that I've been working on in several states. I've been traveling like crazy, and I'm trying to cover all of this stuff that we have going on in our country right now. That's kind of just all over the place. And so, thank you again for stopping by. Thank you for watching. I'm eager to look at your comments and your thoughts on Maurice's letter to me. I don't have a way to reach out to him. I only know he lives in Philadelphia. He seems to be a decent fella, and I responded, and thank you, Maurice. I told you I would read your letter publicly and share it on YouTube, so I have now. And thank you again to all the good brothers who've written and sent notes to me personally or said things. Thank you for shutting down that guy Robert Townsend on Facebook. They removed his post for saying that Crystal and Asia and I should be shot like Old Yella. And yes, that's what he said. He absolutely did. And all you have to do is watch and read the comments and look at what he wrote. And Facebook agreed. That's why they shut it down. So keep vigilant. Report these things. Report abuse. Report hate speech. Remember, hate speech is never free speech. It's not protected speech. There's no First Amendment right to purvey hate and threaten people's lives, threaten to rape them or harm them or maim them. That's just not true. Make sure that you're watching your back when you're out. Make sure that you're alert, you're sober. If you see something, say something. And by the way, guys, for those of you that get on and say such hateful things about my hair and call me names, you do know that doesn't bother me, right? You do know that this is my hair, whether you like it or not. I'm sorry. Like I said, you have to talk to my great-great-grandfather who's white with red hair, and the one after him who's white with blonde hair, and you'll have to argue with my family gene pool, and I'm sorry for that if that offends you, but it is what it is, and you don't hurt me when you get on here and tell me I'm ugly. We all know I'm nothing close to being ugly or unattractive. That just ain't true. And you just need to really sit with yourself and ask yourself why you're so hate-filled and why you're so angry and why you're so vile. It's you I pray for. It's you I worry about. It's you who I hope finds some peace in your life. Because anyone who can spew some of the hateful, awful violence that I've seen spewed here on YouTube, it says a lot about where you are in your life. And I hope you find some peace for the pain you're in. This is just who I am, and so I'm never going to stoop to that level. When they go low, we go high. You guys, God bless you and keep you. I look forward to your comments. Bye-bye now.